Hello, good afternoon. I am on live. Hopefully, I am in the correct place in the Jen Stampin' for Fun Facebook page. I know it can take a few minutes for people to find the video. So I will just chat a little bit while we wait. I am, what is it, Tuesday at 2. That's why I call it Tuesday at 2, so it keeps me remembering that I can do some fun stamping on Tuesdays. I can look forward to that each week. And it really is just a chance for me to share with all of you out there some of the projects that I'm doing, some of the cards that I make, whatever I'm working on. I just love to take Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to just share some of the different projects. So I am here in Markham, Ontario, which is just north of Toronto area in Canada, and I love to just share stamping. So often I do different classes and different events. So I have lots going on, although things are slowing down a little bit with December. I'm actually looking forward to taking some time off over the holidays to do some Christmas shopping, maybe do a little baking. I'm not the baking type, but for some reason around the holidays, I'm probably not alone, but I love to eat baked goods. So if I want to eat them, maybe I need to make them. So if you're joining in, please let me know that you've joined in. Just say hi, just say where you're from. Make sure to let me know you're watching because anybody who comments on my Facebook live feed here will be entered into a drawing. And of course, I love it when you share, so don't be afraid to share this Facebook live video and let me know you're sharing so that I can enter you into a second drawing. Okay, so I do have some fun things to raffle away this week. Oh great, we have Joy joining us. Hi Joy. It's always great not to be all alone here when I'm doing my Facebook Live, so I love to interact. That's another reason why I've decided to do these weekly Facebook Lives, because I know not everybody can make it out to my classes, and I know not everybody lives close enough to be able to make it out to my classes. So this way I still get to share stamping with you. And so anyway, so this is a great way for me to share. I'm not a huge technology person, but hopefully this will still be a way that you can see what I'm up to. So let me show you the little prizes I do have to give away. So in case you didn't see in my Facebook group, so I do have a Facebook group. I think it's linked with this page, so if you're not a part of my Facebook group, you can join in. But I announced there the winners from last week. It was Gail Thomas and I think Debbie L. So you guys PM me your address so that I can give you the prizes from last week, which were these great rhinestones. Oh, how nice, Joy. We're having like a little intimate conversation because you're by yourself in the office today. So that's good. So you can get some stamping inspiration to help you on your work, help you get your work done, right? Okay, so this week's prizes are some Stampin' Write markers. So since we're leading up to Christmas, I thought some Stampin' Write markers would be good. So I have two drawings going on. One drawing will be for anybody who comments, and it'll be a pair of these Stampin' Write markers, the Old Olive and the Real Red. And then I have another set, just the same, to give to somebody who's been sharing my video. So each week I'll do the drawing and let you know who the winner is. Okay, so don't forget to comment if you're watching. Just let me know where you're from. So there's been a lot going on in the Craft Cave, even though I'm looking forward to getting a rest and doing some Christmas shopping and stuff. But I did a craft show this past weekend in my old neighborhood where I grew up. So that's like in the Scarborough area. For those of you that are in the GTA area, you'll kind of know where Scarborough is. So I did a little craft fair, and some of the things I was selling were these cute little treat packets. So I don't know if you can see it there, but they're just Hershey nuggets. So these are like so hard to find in Canada. I don't know why. They're more available in the States. Maybe not so much in Canada, but I did find them on Amazon, and they're little chocolate Hershey nuggets of all different flavors, and just wrapped some designer series paper on it, and these fit perfectly into our 2-inch cello bags. So Stampin' Up! Sells these cute cello bags, and then you can dress it up and put it inside with a little tag and with a ribbon. Yes. Yeah, Joy, you had to order yours from Amazon too. I know, they're not actually the cheapest things in the world. I know that Lindsay was saying, one of the other Team Stick girls was saying that she got them from Niagara Falls at the Hershey store. So next time I'm in Niagara Falls, maybe I'll check and see if it's a little cheaper there. So I had a couple different designs for sale at the craft table, so I did sell some of those. But again, same thing. I just get out to the craft fairs just to share stamping and let people know that I offer different classes and things. So what else did I have at my table? I also had these little treat packets. So it's using the little elf from our Christmas stamp set there. And inside is just some Rice Krispie squares. So the Rice Krispie squares fit right inside. So I also had those for sale on the table as well. So I thought you guys would want to see just some different treat ideas. And this one is just done using our scallop tag topper punch. So we actually have a punch. I'm just looking for it here. We have a punch that actually creates this scallop tag. So there's even a little hole in here to put the ribbon. So you could make a tag, you could make a bookmark, or in this case, the paper was just extra long and we just folded it down here and punched the other side so that it made a treat packet. So I know this has been a big seller over the years, this scallop tag topper punch. So it's always great to have that on hand to make little treats like that. Anyway, so I thought you guys would be interested to see what I sort of had on my craft table. But why don't we dive in and take a look at what I wanted to share today. I actually just love to share what I've been doing in my classes. So I didn't design anything special to show you guys today. So those of you that came to Technique class yesterday will have already seen these cards. But if you didn't, then at least you can get a sneak peek of what I do at Technique class. So we made 3 cards last night. Joy, we missed you. I hope you're feeling a bit better. I know you were just feeling super pooped out, but let me show you what we made yesterday. So the theme was kind of on shaker cards. So look at the sequins inside that kind of shake. There are iridescent sequins. This one is not a shaker card, but it just had a little bit of movement in here. When it's in the envelope, it's kind of like this. And when you take it out of the envelope, it kind of pops out. And it's just, if you can see from the side there, it's just a folded piece of paper. And I just put the sentiment in the bottom. So it just says a great big welcome. I think for a special little someone or something, it says down here. Okay, so again, just that idea with the window. Okay, and then the one that I wanted to show you how to make today on this Facebook Live is this shaker card. Okay, so I'll show you, but inside, I don't know if you can see the shaking. I'll show it when I put the camera down. Hopefully you'll be able to see, because there's a few fun things on this card that I wanted to show you. So I'll just do it on this Facebook Live, and then Joy, since we missed you, you get to enjoy it, or anybody else that's joining in that didn't come to my class last night, at least you can kind of see the type of things we do at Technique class. So the thing about my Technique class, it's different from my Sweet and Simple card class because there's always something new. There's always, it's a little more complicated, more technique-y, I guess is the word. So it's not usually the place that I'll send someone if they've never stamped before, because it might feel a little overwhelming. But for any of you that have done some stamping before, want to learn some new things or want to get some new ideas, Technique class is definitely the place to come. It's always the first Monday of the month, and usually it's at my house, but sometimes I'll rent a church basement. But it's really important to register. You can't just show up because I do prep all the packets, and yeah, and I just want to make sure you go to the right place. So first Monday of the month is always technique class. I'm always showing something new. So this month was kind of shakers, movers, and shakers. So let me switch the camera around so that you can take a look. Okay, you know what? I realized I forgot to write down. Anyway, okay, can't remember everything. I was going to write a host code on my little paper there, but I forgot to write it down. Okay, so let me flip this baby over so I can start showing you how to make this fun card. Okay, I'm always worried when I do the flip if we have everything set here. So hopefully you guys can still hear me. Let me know if you can't hear me, because with my mount, I'm not sure if I'm covering up the microphone or anything. But here you go. You can probably get a better view of the shaking that's going on. Okay, there it is. Yes, Joy, I did get it. Thank you. I haven't sat down to organize everything yet because I'm still doing some other things, but I will get to it. Thank you so much, Joy. Okay, so isn't that fun? Isn't it fun? And this card doesn't have to be a birthday card. And if you change up the colors, it could totally you know, have a different sort of feel to it. And did you notice inside, I've actually got the candle embellishments. So that's one of the things I wanted to share about shaker cards, is that they don't have to be filled with the traditional shaker items that they sell in the catalog. So I mean, first thought, you might think the sequins would be an easy shaker item, but I'm going to show you what I put into this shaker card. I used our candle embellishments, and they come in silver and gold in the package. And what we discovered at the class is, because they're actually meant to just, you know, they already have adhesive on the back. You can peel it off and then stick it onto a card. But what we discovered last night is you can peel off the back and then peel off the adhesive as well. So I didn't discover that when I was making the card, which is why you can kind of see the white adhesive there. But we discovered in the class we can just peel off this adhesive backing. And then either way, we've got the silver color or the gold color for a shaker. So there's no reason you can't use other embellishments as shaker fill in the shaker cards. And don't be afraid to use household items too, so, or non-Stampin' Up! Items. So I was actually trying to make a third shaker card because I was trying to make them all shaker cards. And I wanted to use like sprinkles, you know, sprinkles like cake sprinkles or cookie sprinkles, but the only color I had was brown and it didn't look good at all. It kind of looked like poo. So I'm hoping that I didn't want my card to look like poo, so don't use brown shaker filling because I learned when I was trying to make my card that it didn't look very, very appealing. But I'm sure if I had had the fun birthday colored shaker, multicolored candy shakers, it probably would have turned out better. But anyway, okay, so this is what I used for shaker fill, these candle embellishments. And then I also used our silver glimmer paper, and I just used an old circle punch that Stampin' Up! Has. And then you can just like punch your own filler. And I was realizing that I don't have the punch that has the moon and the stars, but that would have been a great one for shaker fill as well. You'd punch out a whole bunch of stars, the little moons, and then you could easily make a beautiful like a baby themed shaker card. Okay, but I am just punching our silver glimmer paper with this circle punch, and there's like a little cap in here, so all the little circles go in there, so it doesn't even make a mess. Okay, so I'll punch a whole bunch of those out. Okay, so those are my shaker fill, and then whenever you're doing shaker cards, you really need these. Okay, so let me show you what they are. They are called foam adhesive strips. Foam adhesive strips. So they are very useful for making shaker cards. Let me dive in and show you how I made my shaker card. So when you come to my classes, I usually prepare all the kits ahead of time. That's because I want to make it more relaxing for you when you come to class, so you don't have to cut everything. Okay, so this is a 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I just cut it at 4 1/4 here. Okay, so that, and then I scored it. So this will be our card base. And then I cut another piece exactly this size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just to layer on top. I could have stamped right on here, but I thought sometimes it's nice just to have that extra layer. And I'm using a stamp set called Hand Delivered. Okay, now this is a special set. It's so cute. I love it that there's like all different sayings to the graduate, congratulations, celebrate. So all of these are on here, but this set can only be, you can only order this set if you hosted a party, and with your host dollars you can access this set, or if you place a minimum $200 order, that will give you access to Stampin' Rewards as well, in which you could use your Stampin' Rewards to get this set. And then the other way is by joining my Stampin' for Fun club, because part of the perks of being a club member is that you can access host exclusive stamps when you get free product, because getting free product is part of the perk of being a club member. Okay, so I'm going to use that set called Hand Delivered. I've already mounted the stamps onto the blocks, and so I haven't decided which I prefer better, but I think doing her body, her bottom part, worked for me. So I'm just going to ink her up, her feet up and her skirt up. And oh, it's like it happens every time. We should keep track. Every Facebook Live I do, the telephone rings. It doesn't ring all day, but it rings when I do this Facebook Live Tuesday at 2. It's like meant to be. Okay, so just ignore that. And then we'll ink up the balloon portion. And what's hiding here, you don't always see it, but right here, her little hands are holding the balloon. So all we have to do, and even, like, I don't know if you can see, her body is there as well. Her body with the little buttons for her shirt. So we are going to ink that up with the Tuxedo Black ink, and we're going to try our best to line it up. It's always a bit tricky, and then I tell myself that's okay, it's handmade. So let me see if I can lean over and get this. I'm not sure. Not sure if I'm feeling that, but let's give it a try. Okay. Hey, pretty good. Okay, so isn't that fun? And then all I did was fill in her skirt over here. Okay, so this is the image that will be peeking out of the window. Okay, so the photobucklemer stamps are great for just lining things up and getting that extra depth. And then I just colored it with our Stampin' Blends markers. So there's all kinds of colors. And I find with the Stampin' Blends, you can just go in a circular motion and color it in. Okay, so that part, I think you guys get the hang of it. The Stampin' Blends are nice because they don't leave as much streaking as a water-based marker would. Okay, so it just blends a little better. Okay, and then if you want a little extra shading, you can just kind of go over it a bit more. Okay, whatever you want. So that's how I colored in the balloons. Now, let me show you how I did the shaker part. Okay, when the lid is difficult to get on, I just use my tabletop and push it down, because obviously I seem not to have enough strength there. Okay, so how I did the extra layer, let me show you. So I cut another piece that was a little smaller, and so that piece is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual card, and I think this is it here. It should be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, okay? And so, you know, once I finish coloring all this, this will go onto here. That's the base of the card. But to make the shaker frame part, all I did was take a smaller piece, 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I created my own window. So let me move the ink pad away so I don't accidentally stick my elbow in it. Now, don't forget, if you're watching, I see people are joining in, please comment, because when you comment, you're entered into a drawing for some markers as prizes. So your comments will be entered into a drawing, and I'll know that you were here and enjoying the video. Also, I love sharing stamping, so make sure to share the video as well, and then you'll be entered into a second drawing. So let me know that you're here. I see that, a few people are popping in, but I don't think you've commented. You can just share where you're from. You can share how you enjoy stamping, if this is the first time you've come, or what you think about what I'm showing you. Okay, so now let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm using my Stampin' Trimmer, and okay, so this groove is where the blade will be cutting. So I am actually positioning the edge of my paper at the 1/2 inch mark, 1/2 inch away from where the groove is cutting. And then I love the Stampin' Up! Trimmer because over here, oh great, hi Debbie, thanks for joining in from Nova Scotia. I'll enter you in the drawing. So I'm just sharing how I make a shaker card here. So on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, not only are there measurements at the top, there's also measurements right here along the, kind of along the other direction on where the blade is. So I could start cutting right at the top, but that won't give me a frame. I'm trying to create a 1/2 inch border around. Oh, April, I just saw you log on. Did you see 2 weeks ago you won? I didn't get your address, so your prize has been sitting here. So if you don't mind messaging me your address, then I can get your prize to you. I think you won a paper pumpkin bag. Okay, anyway, back to the project. So here you go, right here. Because I'm trying to create a 1/2 inch border, this little pointy part of the dark blade here, I'm going to start it at the 1/2 inch mark, and then I'm going to go down, but I'm not going to go all the way to bottom. I don't want to cut this piece off. I want to create a frame. So I actually stop. This paper is 5 1/4 inches, so I'm actually going to stop the blade at 4 3/4 to leave that little border. Okay, so I hope I'm explaining that properly. I'll cut it for you now so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's why it's important to have a nice sharp blade and have a good trimmer with good markings. Okay, and so there you go. So it's not cutting the whole thing off. And then I'll just rotate. Again, I'm positioning this edge at the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, and then I start at the 1/2 inch mark right here, and then stop at the 3 1/2. Okay, and then we'll rotate, do the same thing again. You get the idea. And then this is how I will create my frame for the shaker card. And then even if it doesn't pop out right away, you can always use scissors to trim off the last little bit. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so I can just use my paper snips to trim that off. Okay, so that is how, this is just one way to create a shaker kind of window, because the whole point of the shaker is to get to see all the little pieces that are shaking around, right? So let me show you the final card again so that you remember where we're going with this card. Okay, so that's how I created this window. But on this card, for example, this card that we did in technique class, I didn't use my trimmer to cut the window. I actually used one of our circle framelits. Okay, so that's how I did that. Now, what you do after you've created the frame that you want for your shaker is you will attach a window sheet. So whenever you're making shaker cards, the foam strips are very crucial, and the window sheets. Okay, they come in 12 by 12 size, so I just trim them to the size I need, and then you just adhere that on. I myself really like to use our tear and tape adhesive. Okay, and I just like, because I feel like it's quite strong, our tear and tape adhesive, so I just put it on all 4 sides, and then I'll be able to adhere the window sheet to it. So it's really important to do this window sheet part first before doing the foam adhesive strips. So I'll show you why, because during at my technique class on Monday, I noticed some people did it the other way, and it doesn't really work the other way. You have to put the window sheet on first, kind of like a little barrier. Okay. So we're just going to stick that on here. Okay. Perfect. So we'll stick that on, and then I like to push down. I just saw a comment fly up on the screen. I don't know whether it's from April. Because I think I had mentioned that you won a prize, but I can't send it to you because I don't know your address. So you're going to have to message me. But I love it that you join in and can see what's going on, because I love to share stamping. So for those of you just joining in, I was just sharing that I love to make different projects at my classes, different things at my classes. So this week I'm just showing you one of the projects we made at my technique class, which is the shaker cards. And even if you don't live local, you can still enjoy the techniques because, well, sometimes I'll share them on the Facebook Live here. But you could be a long distance club member, and then I will happily mail you the 3 projects that we make each month. And then you can still get the membership perks of free product and getting free product. My club members, they get free product, they get tutorials each month. So if you like stamping, you should definitely think about being a Stampin' for Fun club member. So can you see now there's a little window here, and then now we can put on these foam adhesive sheets. So these are great because what they do is they give some lift here. And then I like to put it as close as I can to the actual opening of the window. Okay. And although these are straight, I have used them on circles as well because they are pretty bendy. Okay. So when I have cut out a shaker window like this one, that's a circle, I just bent the foam around so that it would still go around the circle. Okay, so this is how you kind of give that lift so that there's room for the shaker pieces to go around. Okay, so all you do is just, and now you can't have any gaps. So if you're noticing here that I've left a gap, I'm going to have to come back and I'm going to have to fix that gap. So, because we can't have a gap like that. That's not good because all the shaker pieces will fall out and then it's not very fun there. So sometimes it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to get the pieces to fit in. So let's see if this piece will fit in. There we go. Okay, so that's how we do the frame. Okay, and so I find these foam adhesive sheets, they last quite a while because you don't have to use them all every time. Oh, here's a piece right here. Maybe this will fit. Okay. Okay, so maybe that'll work. Let's stick that down. Put this back on here. Okay, so this will be our piece. Oh, there's more things I want to show you. Okay, you know what? I should quickly finish coloring these in. So while I'm coloring, maybe I'll tell you a little more about what's going on in the Stampin' Up! World. Right now, as I'm doing this video, I believe it's December the 4th. And so what's special about December the 4th? Nothing really, except that on December the 5th, Stampin' Up! Has said that they are going to do some closeout sales. So I think a lot of companies do this near kind of in December, the final Christmas push, or even I think for Stampin' Up! Sometimes it might be a little, we're getting really to the borderline of shopping because we have to depend on UPS delivery. So, so in order to encourage sales, Stampin' Up! Is having some year-end closeout deals. So we'll just keep our eye open on my website, because tomorrow, oh here, see, I have my website up here. So tomorrow we'll hear the news about what's going on special and things like that. So that's important to know. The other thing that's important to know is that starting in January, there'll also be something called Celebration going on and a new catalog. So that's important to know. What else can I tell you while I am coloring these balloons? Oh, the other thing is, if you've been studying the holiday catalog, please know that some things are sold out, and that's just because, you know, they did say at the back that some things are limited as you reach the end of a catalog period. And that's just because some things just sell out. The inventory is gone. So if there are some things you want still from the holiday catalog, don't be afraid to head to my online store and just check, see what's left, nab what you still want. Okay, and then, yeah, let's use another bit of Bermuda Bay at the top. Hi, Kala. It's always nice to see people popping in, and I'm glad you commented, because just by commenting, you're being entered into my drawing. See how these blends markers just make it so easy to color. Smooth. And I'm not even a fancy colorer. I don't think colorer is a real word, but anyway. And then if you wanted to put a little highlights, you could. This is called the color lifter. So if you wanted to just, you know, add a little highlight here and there, it just kind of moves the color around a little bit. Okay, so this is, see how it kind of moved the color around a little bit, and it just put a little bit of highlight here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll make it a little, it's like a chemical reaction. There, can you see that there? So that's kind of fun. Okay, so now we have our lady all colored. I know, I love this host set too. I was just telling people, when you're a club member, you have access to it, or if you place a $200 or more order, you have access to it. Okay, just making sure the marker's on. Marker lid is on. Okay, so this is just going to go right on top like this. You can pick whatever fill you want, but remember I had these silver glimmer paper circles. Okay, so you can put that in there. And then we can, where's my little candle? Yeah, here it is. See, I peeled off the adhesive on the candle. We can put another one in there. And so you could put really anything. Maybe if I had that colored cake sprinkles or cookie sprinkles, I could put it in. But I think, Kala, you missed, I was saying in the beginning that if you use brown sprinkles, it looks like poo. So don't use the brown sprinkles. Unless you're going for that look, of course. Unless there's a special card that you're making. So I'm just peeling off the adhesive so that it doesn't stick on the card there. Okay, so here, I don't know, it still feels kind of goopy on the back. Okay, so I just peel that off. Okay, so there we go. I always like to put a little more of these because I always find that it sticks to the edge of the adhesive strips. So more is always better than less, I think. So just put a few more there. Okay, so that is it. I think I haven't forgotten anything. You can now peel off the backing. And then what you might want to do as well is sometimes you can even rub the window sheet with our embossing buddy to try to take away some of the static. You could do that as well so that the pieces kind of stay where they're supposed to. And then just pop this on top. Okay, so that just gives the bit of the frame. Okay, and that is it. And then we can just put it on our card base just like that. We can use the snail. That should be fine. Oh, I know, there were other things I wanted to show you. Wait. Okay, so this was the card. Okay, and I wanted to show you the Celebrate Thin Lit here. I know Joyce likes sparkle poop, I agree. So I just ran that through the Big Shot. So we'll just pop out some of these little pieces. So I ran that through the Big Shot, and But I actually don't have to use any adhesive, because if you stick our adhesive sheets, they look like this. They're called multi-purpose adhesive sheets. And then you can just, you know, cut it to whatever size you need. So this is a pretty big piece for the word celebrate. We probably only need sort of half that size. And then you can just take a scrap piece of the cardstock, and then you apply the adhesive sheet. So this actually, what I'm trying to show you, which I thought is cool, and I always forget to use my adhesive sheets, but I was so happy for technique class, I remembered to do it ahead of time, because I did roll it out for the girls ahead of time so they wouldn't have to stress about it. But I put this adhesive sheet onto the cardstock, and then I just used the die. So let me show you. This is the Celebrate Youth Inlets here. So I just used the Celebrate die, and I put it on here. Okay, so I know many of you watching already have seen the Big Shot in action, but just in case you haven't, I do want to make sure you can see it, that you just put it on here, and you can roll it through. Okay, so this is basically a press. It just presses it down. Okay, so I like to go through a couple of times. Oh, well, that didn't really work because I cut through. I had 2 pieces of cardstock there. Let's see if we can line this up and do it again. Tricky. Impossible. I don't know. But yes, the die will not cut through 3 sheets of things because I had the adhesive and 2 sheets of cardstock. So let's try again. Let's see if this works out. Okay. I don't know. Oh, yeah, well, you'd have to pop that out. But anyway, the point is, it cuts out, and so on the back, you have the adhesive sheet. So all you have to do is peel this off, and it's a sticker. And so then it easily sticks to the card. Ta-da! I know, it made me very happy. Think of the things that all this fussy gluing you could avoid just by using the adhesive sheets. So we could just stick that onto our card. Just like that. Okay, so that's how we made this card last night at Technique class. And so if any of you are interested, it's always the first Monday of the month. So the next one will be January the 7th. But even if you're long distance, you can still get these beautiful Technique cards in the mail just by being a club member. So just let me know if you're interested in that, because club member perks are things like free product, having access to the hostess sets, 20% discount in your birthday month, monthly tutorials that get emailed to you. So there you go. So I hope you learned how to do a shaker card today. And then if anything catches your eye and you want to try some shaker cards, remember foam adhesive strips are very important, and the window sheets are very important. You can get them all from my store. Just head to genevieve.stampinup.net and hit the shop now button, and you can browse everything there. Okay, so that is it. Let me turn this around so that I can say a proper hello, goodbye, that sort of thing. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you had fun learning about the shaker card that we made yesterday. And come and say hi. If you're watching this later, make sure that you're commenting so that we know that you enjoyed the video, and then as well I can enter you into a drawing. And then if you are enjoying what you're seeing, don't be afraid to share it on your timeline or share it with friends, and then you'll be entered into another drawing. Okay, but just let me know that you shared, because sometimes on the Facebook privacy settings I can't see where you're sharing it or who's sharing it, so I do want to enter you into the drawing for these great Stampin' Write markers. Okay, so thanks for joining in, those of you that joined in, and I hope you were inspired by my shaker card and that you will give it a try too. Thanks, bye for now.